One of the questions I get asked a lot when I play Stardew Valley on my Twitch streams or on my TikTok clips is how to make a lot of money fast. There are definitely a lot of ways to make money in the game, but I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite methods. I tend to focus on a few different methods to get money at the beginning of the game. So usually I will do a lot of fishing, and then I will sell my fish and buy seeds. I will plant the crops, do more fishing, and I repeat the process until I can afford a coop and a barn for animals, and then I can start making artisan goods. That's the way to make money, is the artisan goods. Now, artisan goods is definitely the best way to make money, but it takes a little bit before you can start to make them. So I like to focus on 4 ways to make money at the beginning of the game, which is fishing, growing crops, animal products, and then artisan goods in that order. There's some different ways that you can make extra money with each of the skills, so I'm going to go through them one by one. So the first skill I'm going to talk about is fishing, and fishing is a really great way to make money, especially at the very beginning of the game. There are some people who will use fishing as their only way to make money, and they will spend every waking hour in Stardew Valley fishing, which is super cool, but I personally cannot handle that much fishing. So that's why I like to do sort of a balance between fishing, crops, animals, artisan goods, so that way I'm just not sitting there fishing all day long. However, the first week or so of the game, you'll probably want to fish pretty much all day long, because that's the best way to get yourself enough money to start planting enough seeds, and then you can sort of stop fishing as much once you have some crops growing. If you enjoy fishing in Stardew, I definitely recommend getting the fiberglass fishing rod. It's 1800 gold at Willie's Fishing Shop, but it's super worth it. You can use bait on your fishing rod after that, and then you'll make a ton more money fishing because the fish will bite a lot faster. You can also focus on the gold fishing spots. There's some specific spots that you can catch gold and higher quality fish more often. They are on the Stardew Wikipedia page, or I can also make a YouTube video featuring those spots if you'd like to see that, and maybe a more in-depth video on fishing, because I know a lot of people tend to struggle. You can also try to go fishing specifically on good luck days. When you watch your TV in the morning, you can watch the fortune teller channel, and she will tell you if the spirits are pleased or displeased or neutral that day. And if the spirits are pleased, it's a good day to go fishing or to go mining. You can also get a boost to your fishing skill and make it easier to catch fish if you eat the meals that have the fishing skill boost. So things like trout soup. There's a few different dishes that you can buy or that you can make once you have a kitchen, and that'll help you when you're fishing. There are also different fish in different locations and different seasons and during different weather. I tend to fish at the mountain lake in the spring, and then I fish at the beach in the summer, and I fish at the river during the fall. I also like to fish at the river during rainy days or at the mountain lake during rainy days. But there's a lot of different fish that you have a chance of catching. You can go on the Stardew Wikipedia and check which fish are available during which times and during which weather if you want to focus and try to go for higher priced fish. As you level up in the fishing skill, you get to choose which professions you want to do, which basically decides which boosts you get. So at level 5, you get to choose between fisher versus trapper. I always pick fisher because I don't really like using the crab pots. I find them annoying, and I think the 25% boost to the fish value and then the 50% boost at level 10 is definitely worth it, especially because I much prefer just fishing to even messing with the crab pots at all. If you really like the crab pots, the trapper option is not a bad option. It's just my personal preference to do the fisher. Speaking of professions, as we move on to the farming skill, the profession that you choose for your farming skill is super important and will make a big difference in how much money you make. So I always choose the tiller to artisan path. If you choose tiller, your crops will be worth 10% more, but more importantly, once you reach level 10, you can choose artisan, which will make your artisan goods worth 50% more. This is how I tend to make a lot of money, is by making a lot of cheese, a lot of mayonnaise, and a lot of wine, and having the 50% more boost makes a huge difference. Before you can even get to the point of making a lot of money with artisan goods, though, you will need to spend a lot of time planting and harvesting crops so you can level up your farming skill, because it does take a long time. So let's start with the best crops to plant. There are definitely some cash crops that I focus on for each season. Starting with spring, I tend to plant mostly cauliflower, and potatoes. You can plant the other seeds, and I definitely recommend each season planting a little bit of each seed, but I tend to plant the most of the cash crops. For summer, they are blueberries and melons, and for fall, they are cranberries and pumpkins. Specifically, summer, planting a lot of blueberries is how I get my first big bunch of money in the game, and I use that money to buy my coop and barn upgrades and all of my animals. Aside from the cash crops, there's a few other things you can do to make extra money when you are growing crops. First of all is using fertilizer. Don't buy from Pierre. It's not worth it. You definitely want to make your own fertilizer. It's super easy. All you need is sap, and I think once you reach around farming level 3 is when you can make your own fertilizer. It's definitely worth it to use fertilizer. It raises the quality of your crops and makes you so much more money, especially if you plant a bunch of blueberries at the beginning of summer. It really helps if you plant them all with fertilizer. Just like with fishing, you can also eat farming skill boost meals like Farmer's Lunch to help you boost your farming skill. And lastly, you can craft sprinklers. Sprinklers definitely come in handy if you can start crafting them. I would do it as soon as you can. It really helps to not have to water all of your crops in the morning, although if you find yourself using a lot of energy watering your crops in the morning, after day 3 of summer and year 1, you can start using the spa, which you can regain energy without having to consume anything or buy anything. So that is a great way to gain energy if you're using a lot of it on watering your crops. So lastly, animal goods and artisan goods are also part of the farming skill. As I make my way through year 1, I slowly try to purchase my farming buildings, my coop and my barn, and all of the upgrades, so that way I can unlock each of the animals, the cows, goats, chickens, ducks, pigs, sheep. I like to get a little bit of each animal, but specifically, I like to have a lot of pigs, and I try to get some before the end of year 1 because pigs drop truffles and you can get truffle oil, but they don't drop truffles in winter. So if you don't have any adult pigs before winter, you won't be able to get any truffles during year 1, which you also need them for the community center. So that's another reason why I try to get all of the barn and coop upgrades in the first year. Another important key to making a lot of money with artisan goods is keeping your animals happy. If you have happy animals, they will give you large milk and large eggs, which makes for gold quality mayonnaise and cheese, which sells for a lot more money. If you want your animals to be happy, you should let them go outside, keep the door open, and let them eat fresh grass rather than hay. It can be really annoying to try to keep grass on your farm, and I still haven't perfected the way to not have my animals just eat it all right away, but it's definitely worth it, and it gives you higher quality animal products if your animals are happy. During the winter, you also want to keep your barn and coop doors closed and make sure to buy a heater for Marnie for each of your farm buildings. Once you have level 10 farming skill and you have a deluxe barn and a deluxe coop and all of the different animal types, that's when you can start focusing on having a lot of animals and a lot of machines. So that way you can focus on making tons and tons of cheese and mayonnaise and wine every day, and that's when you're going to start making a lot of money. Another part of artisan goods is aging them, which you can start doing once you have a fully upgraded house. You will have a basement full of casks, and if you put wine or truffle oil, or I think pretty much any artisan good, you can age them up until they are iridium quality. This is definitely profitable, but it takes a really long time. So I wouldn't recommend trying to do this or focus on this until you have your community center done and all of your buildings upgraded. Overall, I think the best way to make money in Stardew Valley is by making artisan goods. That's my favorite way, and what I tend to focus on getting to is getting to the point of making high quality artisan goods. But to get there, you're going to need to focus on your other skills first as well. So that means fishing a lot, planting a lot of crops. You're also going to need to go to the mine so you can get the resources for crafting. I think this is definitely my favorite strategy when I play the game, because you can work your way towards 100% completion by focusing on each of the skills, but also make a lot of money really fast. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Stardew Valley tutorials.